Hello, everyone. It is Friday, the 5th of January at 12 p.m. UK time. Why does that matter? It's because this is the exact time that you need to be logging on to Zoom every week starting from the 19th of January for our weekly wrap-up. What is the weekly wrap-up? Why does it matter? What are we going to discuss? How do you register for it? How much is it? All of that we're going to discuss in this video. So if you're ready, you're welcome to join me and watch this right now. Hi everyone, my name is Arnie. I've been in customs and global trade for 20 years. I'm a founder of Customs Manager because we all, let's be honest, need a bit of an efficient and effective customs manager, don't we? So if you're a customs manager or you want to be a customs manager or you're an import-export professional, for freight forwarder, if you're a lawyer, if you're a consultant, if you're a tax advisor, if you're a government official, if you have any touch point or an interest in customs and global trade, you are welcome here, the weekly wrap-up. It only takes 30 minutes. And in under 30 minutes, I and my colleagues, my friends, the people that are hosting this show are going to update you on what's happened over the last week in customs, global trade, export controls, and sanctions. This will be a highlight session. We can't go into details in this session, but the point is, when you're about to wind down, when the week's over, you will have your final lunch of the week. Why not spend it as productively as possible? So what I mean by that is you're going to log in to Zoom and 30 minutes long, I'm going to tell you what happened last week in these three fields. And you can just absorb and eat, or you can ask questions, you can write down questions before, you can send us questions before, all of that is possible. It's really to empower the community to use the time, that kind of slow down time on Friday afternoon, at least I hope that's what it is for you, as effectively as possible. And it's also logical because if I'm looking at legislation, I do this professionally. If I look at guidance changes and policy changes, which happen every week all the time, well, why should you? Why would I make you and you and you and you repeat the whole thing again? If one person can do it, why would anybody else need to? So in that way, we can update each other and I can update you and you can update me on all the things that you're seeing on your end. And we have a forum in which we can discuss these things. So that is the principle. And of course, because it's a way to get together and it's very quick, we're going to make it free of charge. Let me get into a little bit more detail. I've got some slides that I want to show you on what you can expect on the 19th of January at 12 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. European time. So let's get ready to. But as you may know, I always move to the top right of the corner so that you can see the screen, and that's actually more important than seeing me, but never mind. So the weekly wrap-up is a weekly free-for-all call reviewing customs and global trade changes of the week. Let me see if I can click something here. There we are. So you have it. What is a weekly wrap-up? It is a weekly online call where we review the changes that we published in our two magazines. So we've got two magazines called the Customs Manager and the Export Control and Sanctions Manager. They come out on different days of the week. They're weekly publications. They are, in essence, a blog entry. But they come out and we're going to review them. And that's the point of the weekly wrap-up. And in the Customs Manager and the Export Control and Sanctions Manager, the changes are listed, but they're very detailed. So it might be a little much for some people or people don't have time. So in that case, you can join our wrap-up. And if you prefer this over reading, then that should be a way that you can get this information as well, at least a highlight. When is the weekly wrap-up? Now that's important. It'll occur every Friday at noon UK time, which is 12 o'clock, which is 1 p.m. Brussels time. So it's a little late lunch for you guys, but hey, it's still a lunch. If you're in the US, it is an early breakfast. It's 7 a.m. And if you're on the West Coast, it's almost impossible for you to join. We'll have a solution for that too. And if there are enough of you in the West Coast, we'll just add another West Coast type kind of wrap up as well. So that is the timing that you need to block in your agenda. How can you participate in this? Well, the only thing you need is registration. Right, so this is how you do it. You go to www.customsmanager.org/events, and then you're going to select the free weekly wrap-up. So you can literally see it on the screen right now. You click there, you complete the form. It says buy now, but there's no charge. So you can buy now without pay. Any of the other courses, they are payable. So just make sure you click that weekly wrap-up. These are the registrations in a simplified way. So if you want to register this way, you download this presentation. So the presentation is available on the website and widely, so you can download it. And then you click here on these buttons and you register directly. So for the 19th registrations, for all of them, registrations open. Please note on the 26th, we will dedicate part of that session to the International Customs Day celebration. I'm working on guest speakers, so fingers crossed. Then also on the 8th of March, it's Friday, so it's International Women's Day celebration. So there we're going to have a guest speaker as well, who's going to talk about the role of women in global trade and international trade. So you can be excited about that. So you see, we're going to keep it interesting to the point, but also we might throw in the odd guest speaker or so. I am your resident host, so I'll be there most of the weeks. However, we are interested and think it is a useful thing to have guest hosts. So A, it helps me because I don't need to be there every time. Secondly, it makes it interesting because there are other people hosting this session. And third, if you have something to say, maybe you are a business and that wants to, have a quick shout out to what you're selling or offering, then this could be a good idea as well. Point is, it's important to mix it up, and therefore guest hosts are invited to come forward and send an email to info@customs-manager.org if you'd like to be a host, indicating the week you want to host, and then I will step back, you will get the controls, and then you run the show. I'll support you, don't worry. If you are going to join us, and you're very welcome to do so, then there is a prerequisite. Now, it is a soft prerequisite, so if you don't do it, that's fine as well, but why wouldn't you in a way, right? So what's most helpful, and you get the most out of it, if you study the last editions of the Customs Manager and the Export Control and Sanctions Manager, and they are free to access. Not all the articles are free to read, but the high-level information is free to access. And there are two ways you can access this. So the website for trade information is customsmanager.info, not .org, because it's information. So www.customsmanager.info is going to get you to the trade intelligence offering. And that's where you can find the latest edition of the Customs Manager and the Export Control and Sanctions Manager. The easy way to go about this and getting this into your inbox for free is that joining the mailing list. So you'll find the link directly on customsmanager.info. You just leave your email address, and that's literally all you need to do apart from click send. And then you'll be added to the mailing list, and then it goes out on Monday mornings at 6 a.m. is the Customs Manager reviewing the previous week. And then on Tuesday at 6 a.m. is the Export Control and Sanctions Manager, which is reviewing the previous week export control and sanctions issues. And then these are the basis on which we then review our or do our wrap up. So we're going to take the highlights of this and then put it into the wrap up. And if you can't make it 1 week, which is regrettable, but it's possible, then we're going to post this on our YouTube channel as well. So the recording, just like this one, is going to go on our YouTube channel. And what you want to do is you want to go there, subscribe, and then click the notification button. And that way you will be notified of new things being posted to the Customs Manager YouTube channel. And we're aiming for 1,000 subscribers. So why don't you do that and promote this channel? And also to make it more relevant, why don't you tell us what you want to see in this channel? Yeah, so all of that, be good to have. Here is the link, and you can go there, subscribe, and get information, top interviews, guides. I'll talk you through some customs developments, and of course, the weekly wrap-up will be posted there. What's on the agenda? Oh, every week we have the same agenda. Bit nice and easy. The agenda is always the same. It always covers 5 points, and that is what? Quick summary update of what happened over the last week. So what are the key updates that we've seen? The focus is on key, so we can't go through all of them, but we can highlight some of the key developments for you. And we will underline the issues with our articles that you can then check out if you want to. That is basically the first, and the second is then a selection of developments that we have selected for you that we're going to introduce at high level, and then we're going to give you some links that you can follow and study more. Then we're going to preview next week's update. So what are the developments that we've already seen that might impact us next week? And then we're going to look at some key events, and then there's time for your questions, and then you're going to get answers on the spot right away. So what are the things, the kind of updates that we're going to cover? Well, here is a list of everything that we monitor on a weekly basis. So you can see there are topics, but there are also industries. So we have a particular focus on aerospace and defense industry, food and drink industry. We're going to publish some articles in French, but mainly there are a lot of topics that we cover, such as CBAM, customs, obviously, export controls, free trade agreements, Northern Ireland rules, rules of origin, new people, the novice guides. And what this means is we're gonna say, all right, there's an update in ADD, and then we're gonna tell you what that update is. Yeah. And every week in the customs manager and the export control manager, we have the same structure that you can then follow, and then you know what you're going to get, how it's going to look, and how you quickly identify what the changes are. Jurisdiction we may cover in our update focus predominantly on 3: European Union, United Kingdom, and United States. And you can see here what kind of the things are that we monitor every week for you to keep abreast. So if we monitor it, you don't have to, because we do it and we tell you about it. We also throw in the old China, Russia, Turkey, Latin America, Asia Pacific, and of course Africa. So if there's major developments there, but it is not a detailed monitoring as we do for these other jurisdictions. We can change that in the future, but for now, that's how kind of the cookie crumbles. So we're going to predominantly focus on the industries we may cover in our update are manufacturing, retail, food and drink, but also life science, chemical industry, aerospace, automotives, etc. That is just to show that we have a wide range of industry that we serve in our consultancy and our training, and also our trade intelligence update. So if you're in any of these sectors, make sure you don't miss our wrap up on the 19th of January, starting right now, starting on that day. And then this last part of the agenda, kind of before we move into Q&A, is the key events. So here, for example, 2 events that we will mention. Already on the 26th is our International Customs Day. And then on the 26th to the 29th February is the WTO Ministerial Conference in Abu Dhabi, the 13th of the WTO. And that's really, really crucial because, as you know, electronic commerce, the moratorium, the exemption to charge customs duties on electronic commerce is on the chopping block. And if we don't find a way to make sure duties are not imposed, and the extension of the waiver, so to speak, the moratorium is maintained, we're going to be in hot waters. I can tell you that. So we've got to be aware of all the conferences and events coming up. So this might be European events, might be UK events, US events, elections, for example. If we're lucky or unlucky, depending how you see it, there'll be elections in the EU, in the US, and in the UK, all happening in 2024. So there's a lot that can change. The policy will change, the laws will change, the guidance will change, the attitude will change, and we all have to navigate it. So it's going to be a crazy busy year, and the policy initiatives are so intense, and the law changes are so intense that we really need this wrap up. Otherwise, we're not going to be on top of everything. Don't forget, after the wrap up, there is a 30-minute lunch and learn. Lunch and learns have become very, very popular to distill short information while you eat. And I couldn't think of a better way to close off the week than to give you ongoing learning opportunities. In customs and global trade, everybody will agree that learning is essential. If you don't learn, you lose. So how are we going to make sure that we don't spend too much time away from the office, but still upskill ourselves? So the way we do it here is with a lunch and learn. It's 30 minutes and it completes your 1-hour lunch break. It's a weekly learning opportunity where we just take one topic and we look into it and we explain it. So EU customs reform, for example, so much detail. When do you actually take the time to learn about it? Well, now you know that your standing invitation to learn with us is just after the wrap up from 12:30 to 1. So it also requires registration. Registration is different, and Here you've got time and location from the 9th of January, and then you select different dates, and this is when you can change and register for the other events as well. What's on the agenda? Well, we have said, and it can change, that we're going to talk about the upcoming SPS changes in the UK for the first topic. Then we're going to look at 30 minutes into details on that. Then we're going to look at CBAM because the report is happening on the 31st of January. So we need to be having a look at how do we file CBAM report. That session is going to be on UK safety and security changes that are coming up. That's your ENS information. And there you'll see we might have guest trainers, right? Because I'm actually not available on that day. So we'll need to find someone who wants to talk about it. So if you want to talk about it, then please come forward. Also, then preparing for CDS exports. That's another big topic in the UK. So very heavy UK focus because there's so much changes in the UK. So preparing for UK CDS exports is another one of those. Then we're going to look at Russia's war on Ukraine 2 years on. And that's because we're coming up to the second tragic anniversary. And so we need to understand what are the sanctions implications. The way we've done it this time is we have split it into 2 sessions. So we're going to talk about the EU and the US changes, so 12 sanction package, etc., on the 16th of Feb. And then on the 23rd of Feb, we're going to talk about the UK specifically and its changes, right? So the various updates to the regulations, etc. And that will cover the latest sanction package, but also obviously steel and iron and Q&A and all that. 7 sections about the EU customs rules. So we move to the EU then. EU customs reform update on the data hub. So we then split that into sections because it's so big we need to focus. So we're going to look at the customs data hub, and then we're going to have a trust and check trader on the 8th of March, and that gets us into spring. And then we're going to update that and see how popular these lunch and learns have been, and see if we continue it or what we're going to do with it. So that's the offer. It is. You can volunteer to be a guest lecturer. If you have an important thing you want to talk about and you want to be a guest lecturer, then please, you can also propose topics. info@customsmanager.org is the email address to go through, and then you can join it. I should mention there's a charge to these events. It's a low charge, but there's a charge because it takes us a while to use these. And if you're a premium plan subscriber, you will have been given a code, and that code you can use at checkout to 0 rate this lunch and learn. So for those that are subscribed to the premium plan for customsmanager.info, that it is completely free, which is a significant thing, and you get ongoing education, lifelong learning every week. It's pretty cool. Of course, it's time for your Q&A. That wraps up in our wrap-up, and that is an opportunity for you to ask any questions that you have. You can send it to info@customsmanager.org, and you can ask them also during the live event. But know that we're recording this session, so then your face or your voice or your information or the question you ask is going to be on the web. Yeah, and if you have then more detailed question about your business, then you can always book a call at customsmanager.org, and then on the top right corner you have the opportunity to book a free expert call with me probably. There's also on-demand training and guides and explainers, and we're going to tell you what's latest on that. That's it. I told you it would be less than 30 minutes, and it is less than 30 minutes. The only thing for me to say is if you haven't connected on socials with us, then please do so. LinkedIn in particular is very useful. Do check us out and subscribe to our LinkedIn channel, and comment and like what we post ideally. YouTube is obviously a channel that we use, and then we're also on Twitter, or X as we should call it now. The email address is there. The web page to the main page is on org, or you go to info for your trade updates. And if you want to chat, then there's a number as well for you to call. Well, what do you think? Are you going to join us on the 19th of January for our inaugural wrap-up? If that is so, then please go to www.customsmanager.org events and select this logo here, the weekly wrap-up, and then we can see each other and talk about what happened. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this was useful and gave you a bit of a flavor of what we're planning and what we're doing. And if you can join us, we would be very delighted to have you. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the 19th at the latest.